Let's see what we got. Artists who tricked the music industry and got rich doing it. It's a couple of them. Let's see what they talking
Most
about.
artists in the music industry never achieve massive wealth. They either get screwed over on bad record deals,
Hov is
end up
definitely
in
one of
debt,
them.
or only see pennies on their royalty checks. But then there's the 1%. The ones who flipped the system, gave the labels
Chance,
the middle
he
finger,
got some money and got
built
on out of there.
empires on their own terms. You probably know most of the names on this list, but in this video, we're going deeper into exactly how they built their wealth and escaped the music industry trap. Today, we're breaking down the richest artists in the game and why the industry low-key hates them for it. Let's get into it.
Man, what happened to Russ? Man, Russ, he definitely beat the system, and I ain't seen him in a while. Chance
In an
the
industry
Rapper.
built on record deals and label push, Chance the Rapper pulled off the unthinkable. He skipped the label, skipped the price tag, and still won.
God, he did all that shit independent. Cause when he did that big ass song, One More Label Try to Stop Me, for you would think that bitch was being pushed by a label. How big that song got.
Record is broken down. So they tell you, you make a song, I write a and I rap the song, I record the song.
The fuck
Once I
happened to
release the
Chance?
song, there is
People stopped fucking with him after the shit with his wife. That was the last thing I remember. He had like some of the scandal going on with his wife, or his wife said he was messing with boys or some shit like that. I think that's what happened.
what's called a master and a publishing portion of the record. So the master is the recording of it. So if I sign a record deal or a recording deal, I sign away my masters, which means the label owns the recording of that music.
Right.
On the publishing side, if I write a record and I sign away my publishing in a publishing deal, they own the composition of work. So if I play your song on piano that you wrote, I have to pay you publishing money because it comes from that idea. Or if I sing a line from that song, it's from the publishing portion.
In 2016, he
Right.
dropped Coloring Book. No label,
Glad he broke
no
it down for
physical
the people who
copies.
didn't know.
It debuted exclusively on Apple Music and within days made history as the first streaming only album to hit Billboard. On top of that, he went on to do something nobody thought was possible. 100% independent, and he won a Grammy. 3 Grammys. He didn't sell a single album. He didn't sign to a major label, but he had the respect of the entire industry. Instead of
3
chasing
Grammys?
record deals, he
He
valued
set.
his freedom and monetized everything else.
There's people in the industry that are not like Sylvia Rome that want to see this all fall apart so that they can prove that you need them in order to make it work. So I would say to anybody out there that's an independent artist, my number one pieces of advice: don't sign a record deal, don't sign a distribution deal, don't sign a publishing deal, don't sign
I thought
a
it was
management.
good to sign like a distribution deal. Just don't sign a publishing deal and don't sign a record. You can sign a record deal, but don't sign all your rights and shit away.
Deal. Hire the people that you need.
Yeah, I
to
feel like
sign
you don't really need a management deal unless the manager is really known and really could get you in some places. If not, then
a publishing
keep
deal.
trying
Don't
on
sign a
your own.
management deal. Hire the people that you need to work with you. Pick out your goals and go get them done. And you could get
Right. Don't sign a management deal, but you could go get a manager. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's different.
them done, and it'll work, and you'll connect with your fan base, and you'll make money. And
Right.
your rise will be as fast or as slow as you want it to be, but you'll be in a great position.
You see, where he really made bank was his tour. The Magnificent Coloring World Tour packed venues.
See, that's what I don't want to do. Like, that's really the only way as a artist or a rapper that you can really make money if you sign to a label. You know what I'm saying? Is to go touring and do shows and all that shit, which once you get to a certain age, you don't be want to do all that shit. I want to make music and get placements and shit like that.
He sold out merch, and he turned it into his whole financial empire. Forbes even named him the 5th highest paid rapper in the world, clocking in $33 million, all without selling an album. But that wasn't it. He started getting brand deals. Kit Kat, where he appeared as Chance the Rapper. He starred in the Super Bowl commercial for Doritos. He cut checks with Nike, H&M, and even Apple gave him
All with no album. It really just because he was clean cut. Like when Yachty first came out. When Yachty first came out, everybody wanted to latch to him because he was clean cut. No tattoos, no this, no that. All that shit changed now though. But at the time, they love a clean cut rapper who they could promote.
$500 million
was popping
for
at
the
time.
exclusive release. Chance is a clear example that you don't need a label if you work hard, make music people love, and own it. Now, they all tried to sign him. The labels tried to sign him. Kanye tried to sign him. Everybody wanted a piece. But Chance made it loud and clear in his song, No Problem. If one more label try to stop me, it's gonna be some dreadhead niggas in the lie.
He said try to stop me, not sign me though.
I be,
If one more label try to stop me.
Now, for those who don't get that line, he's basically saying that if one more label tries to disrupt what I have going on, I'm going to bring my friends from my old neighborhood. They have dreadlocks, and we're going to come to the offices of the record label and cause a disturbance. But I digress. But even as his bank account grew, he always stayed true to himself. He valued faith, community.
Once a nigga get 33 million, bro, you supposed to never go broke again. I don't care if you never make another dollar. 33 million, man, you better spend it wisely. If you was surviving and living off $10,000 and such, man, you could survive off 33 million.
And independence.
For life.
All while being worth $25 million.
The best thing I would say for independent artists is continue to create, grow, and cultivate your fan base.
And yeah, he had managers and industry connections. He had to play the game a little bit, but he never signed his rights away. Chance the Rapper proved the old model was broken. He built a career without a label. He won Grammys without the traditional sales model. He toured the world on his own terms. And even got love from Barack Obama, who named Acid Rap one of his favorite albums. He beat the system all while having a smile on his face.
Thought they said he didn't drop
laughing
an
in
album.
the face to the labels that wanted a piece of
But
what
I
he
do
built.
remember Acid Raps. Yes, he did. Hove,
Remember
I know
the
Hove
story
gotta
of
be on that
Zamzam?
bitch. Hove,
One mother's dua,
he did the unthinkable with the
answered
shit
by
that
a
he
buzzer.
doing. Like, you never thought a nigga out the project, out of Morse, be that big.
Now, I think we all can agree Jay-Z
Mainly, I think coming up, it was because he played the game the right way. He stood quiet about a lot of shit, and he just, you know, he did his thing. But as soon as you start getting out of control, like Kanye West and shit, that's when they start taking you down.
doesn't need any introduction. Rising up from Brooklyn's Marcy Project.
Any black person who rich, trust me, they let you get up there to that rank. Because if they wanted to, they could have been like, cut you short.
He's now worth around $2.5 billion.
According to Forbes, Hove is officially the first hip-hop artist to become a billionaire, and it's all thanks to his many business endeavors.
But how did a
First
rapper from the
hip-hop
streets
artist?
become one of the richest people in the music industry? You see, Jay didn't just drop hits. He made strategic business moves in fashion, tech, sports, and luxury. His story
Mainly made all this money outside of hip hop, but you know, got famous off of hip hop.
isn't just about talent or hustle or anything like that. It's about understanding the game and how to change the rules. In the early 90s, Jay-Z was just another rapper trying to get signed. But believe it or not, no one in the industry wanted to take a chance
That
on
nigga
him.
always
They thought he was
looked
too
the same.
old and had a rap style that was a little too unorthodox. So Jay-Z
remember.
flipped the script. He built his own empire from the ground up. In 1995, Jay teamed up with Dame Dash.
Hov said nobody wanted to sign him. Nobody wanted to book his tour, none of that shit. So he had to do it all out of pocket. Booked it, paid for his own tour, did his own little thing, and then that shit took off.
And Kareem Biggs Burke to launch Rockefeller Records. Came out with his first release, Reasonable Doubt, which is now considered a classic in the rap world.
Maybe it's for the best though. It's when they see it too much.
But Rockefeller
I put
wasn't
it
just
on
a
when I feel
platform
like
for
being in a
Jay-Z.
certain
It became
vibe,
a
a certain
whole
mood.
movement. They ran the label like a crew. You got Dame Dash with the hustle. Then you got Jay with the heat. And then Kareem Burke with the business savvy. All of this mixed with their connection to the streets. And Rockefeller completely redefined what a hip
And if I'm not mistaken, I believe Kareem, he put up the money at first. Like, he was the first one who put up half of the bread type shit.
hop label even was. They were dominant.
You know, that was the genius thing we did. We started selling our own CDs and we built our own buzz, and then the record company came back to us. So now we had a different negotiation. It wasn't the same artist label relationship. Now we obtain ownership in our own company.
But in 2004, Jay-Z made his next big move. He sold the label to Def Jam for $10 million and stepped into an executive role as president of Def Jam Recordings.
Oh, so that's how that played out. He sold the label to Def Jam. I just thought like he became president of Def Jam, and the Rockefeller thing had faded away because of the him and Dame situation that, you know, split, and thought he took half and all that type of shit. But yeah, I didn't know
He had
sold
power
it
in
to
front of the
them.
mic and behind the
All right.
scenes at the same time. Now, Jay still wasn't satisfied. You see, in 2008, he left Def Jam and
See,
launched
that's a
Rock-
regular haircut
Still wa-
right there, but
He had power in
that
front
one
of the
right there, that's a crazy. You see, that one was
mic
crazy.
and behind the scenes at the same time. Now, Jay still wasn't satisfied. You see, in 2008, he left Def Jam and launched Rock Nation. Rock Nation quickly expanded from a record label into
Damn, he left Def Jam. I thought he still had parts of Def Jam or something.
managing huge artists like Rihanna, J. Cole, and DJ Khaled. It became a major
Damn,
entertainment
look how
force.
thin Khaled
And he
shit
still
is.
didn't stop. In 2013, Jay-Z shocked everybody by launching Roc Nation Sports, signing stars like Kevin Durant.
I believe Master P was the first one with that No Limit Sports. I think Cash Money had Cash Money Sports or Young Money Sports, some shit like that.
He even sold the stake that he had in the Brooklyn Nets to make it happen. And that's the end of the Jay-Z story.
Damn, that nigga sold his stake.
He even
in the
sold the
Nets?
stake that he had in the Brooklyn Nets to make it happen.
Damn, I know he had a stake. I didn't know he sold it.
And that's the end of the Jay-Z story. Not. He still didn't stop. In 2015, he jumped into the streaming world. He bought Tidal for $56 million. Whew. Jay, help another Jay out, brother. And on top of that, he sold 33% of the...
So Tidal was a thing before he bought it? Like it was already Tidal and was they popping? Y'all let me know in the comments.
company to Sprint for another $200 million in 2017. While most artists are struggling and complaining about how streaming services pay so little, here's Jay-Z buying the streaming service. He said it himself. I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman. And Jay-Z kept firing off at the hip. Luxury champagne deals, $204 million sale of Rocawear. Jay turned his creativity into long-term financial security. Plus, he's not afraid to call out the music industry's flaws. In the Story of OJ's song, he talks about a lot of different issues, but one thing he talks about is financial literacy.
Financial freedom, my only hope.
Instead of wasting money and being flashy like he used to when he was younger, he now encourages investments and community building. The lyrics reveal mistakes that he made and lessons that he learned. And at the same time, he's trying to inspire fans on investing and escaping any systemic barriers that they might be surrounded with. Jay-Z was talking to Warren Buffett and he said, the industry's biggest lie is that artists can't be creative and wealthy at the same time.
That was the greatest trick in music that people ever pulled off, is to convince artists that you can't be an artist and make money. I think the people that were making millions actually set that. I think they set that whole thing up. You know, it was almost like shameful, like especially in rock and roll, you had to pretend that, you know,
like
you got these
sitting in the room
millionaires.
with
It was almost like
with the
shameful,
niggas who
like
started
especially in
that
rock
shit.
and roll, you had to pretend that, you know, you got these millionaire guys who had to pretend as if they weren't successful at all, or it would be like a detriment to their career.
His blueprint is own your art, run your business, change the game. All right, Swifties.
I learned a lot from it too, to where now when I do rap, I don't even like to rap if I don't own the beat, if I don't own everything about it, to where I could, you know what I'm saying, capitalize off it now or in the future. I don't want to do it.
It's your turn.
Don't make sense.
I took control, went
Taylor
solo,
Swift, I know about
into
it, but I
my
don't know
own
too much about
online
it.
knife empire.
I want to hear her story.
Taylor Swift signed her first deal at just 15 years old.
Oh, word? I don't know why in my head I'm thinking Taylor Swift, the little chick who had the little show on Nickelodeon. I'm thinking about Miley Cyrus or something.
And like most new artists, she signed away her masters. Fast forward to 2019, Scooter Braun bought her old label, Big Machine.
These people don't be having lawyers and shit when they look at these contracts, or somebody who could tell them, bro, don't ever sell away your masters, especially in 2019 or come on, man, don't sell your masters. That's stupid.
And with it, the rights to her first 6 albums.
Damn,
It's
6
just
of them?
unbelievable.
So how did you find out? I found out when it was online, like when it hit
She didn't even know. That means you must have didn't have a good lawyer, a good team to look at your paperwork.
the news.
Nobody in your inner circle,
You're right.
knew.
and you didn't
Nobody
smell
knew.
it.
No. I knew he
knew.
would sell my music. I knew
knew.
he would do that. I couldn't believe who he sold it to, because we've had endless conversations about Scooter Braun. And he has 300
I
million
know about
reasons to
Scooter Braun.
conveniently forget those conversations.
Taylor called it her worst nightmare. Not just because of the deal, but it meant that a man that she described as a bully now controlled her life's work. She tried to buy her masters back, but she says that Scooter Braun refused unless she agreed to sign a gag order that she would stay quiet. And then came the final straw. You see, Scooter Braun turned around and sold the masters to an investment firm, Shamrock Capital, for $400 million. He didn't even give Taylor the option to try to bid them out.
After I was denied the chance to purchase my music outright, my entire catalog was sold to Scooter Braun's
I mean,
Ithaca
I'm pretty sure you wasn't gonna pay $400 million for it, but
Holdings in a deal that I'm told was funded by the Soros family, 23 Capital, and the Carlyle Group. To this day, none of these investors have ever bothered to contact me or my team directly to perform their due diligence on their investment in me, to ask how I might feel about the new owner of my art. And of
care
course,
about none of
Scooter
that.
never contacted me or my team to discuss it prior to the sale or even when it was announced.
And that's when Taylor decided to flip the script. She didn't just protest, she launched a whole revolution. Instead of fighting over her old recordings, she just said, I'm gonna make new ones, bitch.
Right. I mean, that's a smart thing to do. For
I don't know
make
if she
some
said
new
those
hits.
exact words, but that's what I imagine her
Make sure
saying.
you
She
own
announced that she re-recorded all 6 albums
she
as
recorded
Taylor's
that shit.
version.
Now, could you re-record?
Oh, yeah.
Might you do that?
Oh, yeah.
That's a plan?
Yeah, absolutely. I was the one who made this music first. I can just make it again.
Yeah.
So that's what we're doing. When something
It
says
never
in
really sounds the
parentheses,
same when you try to
Taylor's
remake it,
version
but
next
hey,
to it,
fuck, remake
that
it,
means
at
I
least
own
you
it,
own it.
which is exciting.
It wasn't
least
just
you
a
own
middle
it.
finger to the people who owned her music. It was a business play designed to
Was she the first
devalue
person to
the
do that?
originals, and it worked. Fearless debuted at #1 and outsold the original. The new Red album broke streaming records. Major radio stations started playing her re-recordings instead of the originals. Fans started to stream just the new ones to support Taylor. Even brands and movie studios licensed Taylor's
that's
versions
love.
over the old ones.
That's
She
big
basically
love.
sabotaged the resale value of the original masters and regained her power in the process.
It was an amazing experience,
was
and
smart.
this was something that started out as a really hard thing I went through. The fans are the people, they were just saying to me
Now,
over
when
and
you
over again,
re-record
we
it,
want to
you
listen to
re-record
your
on the
versions.
same
If
beat,
you
so you
redo
gotta
it,
find
that's what
whole
we'll
new
listen
beats and
to.
everything.
Taylor's fight sparked a whole movement.
And if they own the publishing, ain't when you re-record it, they still own it? Because they own the publishing of the words? I don't know.
New
Let
artists
me
like
know in the
Olivia
comments.
Rodrigo started pushing for better contracts. The labels felt the heat. Universal even changed the wording in their contracts to stop the new artists from re-recording their music too soon. And that's
Yeah, I
dark.
bet they was gonna
But
find
hey,
some shit
it's
to
the
get
music
around
industry,
that.
baby.
All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby.
Whether you love her or not, Taylor made it impossible for the industry to ignore artists' rights. And here's the kicker. She didn't just take her music back. Her re-recordings raked in millions. But the real jackpot was her Eras tour, the highest grossing tour in music history, crossing the $1 billion mark by the end of 2023. Currently, her net worth sits around $1.6 billion. And it gets even better. On May 30th of this year, 2025, Taylor announced that she officially bought back her original masters. The original 6 albums that Scooter Braun had bought.
Why buy back your original if you already redid it and you own the new ones? If they, I guess, because I guess people still might play the original and all that shit will come back to her, but.
Sold before. After a 6-year battle, she now owns everything. The original recordings, the re-recordings, the visuals, the licensing rights, all of it. No label, no middleman, just Taylor. It was the ultimate full circle moment. She didn't just fight the system, she beat it. And in doing so, she set a blueprint for every artist out there who ever felt powerless in the contract. So I guess you could say her old label, and Scooter Braun will always have.
Please don't say it.
Don't say it. Don't you
Had
dare
her
say
mad
it.
as a motherfucker.
Always have
like,
bad
cut
blood.
me out of my money.
All right, I'm sorry. I had to put that in there. I won't do it again. I promise. Back to the show.
Frank Ocean.
Imagine bringing your side project to life.
Boy, originally
just
from
by
New
thinking
Orleans.
about it.
I don't talk
Meet
about
Base
that enough
44.
either. I don't know what happened with him. He like to come out when he want to come out.
Frank
I can't
Ocean's
think of
journey
the last
began
Frank
far
Ocean
away
song.
from the spotlight. In 2005, he relocated from New Orleans to Los Angeles, where he quickly immersed himself in LA's music scene. During this time, he was working fast food and service jobs.
He got popping
The
with Tyler, the
starving
Creator,
artist
didn't
life that we all go through in the music world. But in less than 3 years, he
That's where I
established
first heard
himself as a songwriter under the name Lonnie Bro. He ended up signing a publishing
never
deal
heard
and wrote for big artists like Justin Bieber, Brandy, and Beyonce.
Damn,
He also
didn't know
began
that.
making some big time industry connections like Tyler the Creator and the Our Future Collective. He appeared in their music videos, started performing at festivals like Coachella. But his big moment came in 2000 when he met music producer Tricky Stewart, who helped him get a deal with Def Jam Recordings. But not long after that, his relationship with Def Jam got real sour. You see, he felt rejected by the label, so Frank took things into his own hand. All by himself, without the label's help, he released the mixtape Nostalgia Ultra in 2011. The project exploded. His standout track Novocaine charted despite minimal industry support.
I was in the car and my husband was playing this music, and this guy's tone and his lyrics just touched me. And after one song, I said, okay, who is that? Because I want them on a flight tonight. And he told me it was Frank Ocean.
I love the fact Beyonce still got her real teeth, not fake veneers and all that shit that everybody else got.
And
I believe she still got her original body. Like, I don't think she had no surgery done. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure she's still all natural.
I immediately reached out, and he came in the next day, and we did like 5 or 6 songs. And he is just so humble, such a nice person, really, really talented, very fast. He just has so many ideas, and it's great because he's an artist, and I can't wait for everyone to hear him because he's just the truth.
With the massive buzz around Nostalgia Ultra, Frank Ocean gained significant leverage. You see, Def Jam got in line real fast. They offer full support of his debut album, Channel Orange, which debuted at #2 on the Billboard charts. Channel Orange brought massive success, but just like most record deals, he had to pay back his advance to Def Jam. However, little did they know, Frank was already planning his escape. By 2016, he still owed Def Jam one more album, but instead of giving him his highly anticipated second project, Frank came up with a master plan. It was a plan that completely flipped the industry on his head. You see, he dropped the Apple exclusive visual album, Endless. It was a video that featured his music while showing Frank building a staircase. But just 24 hours after that, Frank shocked everybody and dropped his real project, Blonde. The release was kept completely secret. He only carried copies on hard drives and didn't even tell Apple executives until the last minute to avoid leaks. Blonde immediately became a massive success with no label to take profits.
He had a deal and he didn't put out an album in 4 years. And with his deal, he literally figured out how to get 20 million from Lucian Grange, drop his deal, figure out how to make the funds apply to a whole nother album, give him a bullshit album, get out his deal all in one round. That man figured out how to finesse.
Oh, so when he did the visual album, that was the album that he gave to them, to the label, get them off his back. Soon as they got that, then he dropped his real album. All right, that was
record industry, and people don't talk about that. It took that man 2 years to do that shit. And then Blonde, he already got a $20 million check from Apple from that shit, which he didn't have to give any of that shit back to the label because he was already out his deal once he gave them Endless. Since 2016, already up 20 M.
Frank went from earning about only 14 to 17% royalty to about 70% of all the revenue, multiplying his earnings overnight. Frank said himself that the Endless visual album was the final move in a 7-year chess game with Def Jam just to get out of his contract. But this chess move angered Def Jam and their parent company, Universal Music Group. They placed an immediate ban on all streaming exclusives. The executives, they felt betrayed. How dare Frank do this to us? But the creative community applauded Frank. They got behind his back and celebrated his independence. And by 2023, he became the most streamed independent artist on Spotify. Over 14 billion streams. Frank didn't just outsmart the major label, he changed the game. Proven artists can maintain
Frank Ocean still
full
performing
control
right now?
and still achieve massive success. His label heist remains legendary, influencing how artists negotiate their deals and inspiring a whole new wave of independence in the music industry.
Rihanna.
You want ads that drive results. That's why we built
Rihanna's
Roku Ads
another
Manager.
one.
Sign up at ads.roku.com.
Billy outside of music. But music is what gets you that. Music is what gets you that fame and that spotlight. Put you in these other places so where you're able to do all this other shit.
Before she was a billionaire, Rihanna was just
she
an
would have
average.
just dropped the makeup line and all that shit without being Rihanna first, then it probably wouldn't have worked. But since she was Rihanna first,
15-year-old girl from Barbados. She was discovered by a producer named Evan Rogers. Evan was on vacation when he noticed Rihanna while she was performing with a local girl group. He was so impressed with her that he invited her back to New York City to record some demos. Those early demos made it to Def Jam, where Jay-Z heard an early version upon the replay and invited her to audition. She walked into the office, sang a Whitney Houston ballad,
And then a hero comes along.
hype off Rihanna like
and left at 3 a.m. with a contract. Now I'm sure you know how the story goes. She dropped Pon the Replay, she became a megastar, Umbrella came out. It was insanity. But what's crazy is they had her on an album a year pace. A crazy pace for any artist. But just like almost every other industry story, she didn't own her masters. At least not yet. After her 2016 album Anti, she made a move nobody saw coming. She stopped releasing music altogether. No new singles, no tour, no album. Fans kept asking, where's the next Rihanna project? But her answer was already in motion. It just wasn't in the studio. Rewinding back to 2014, Rihanna made a power move. She left Def Jam and signed fully with Jay-Z's Roc Nation. But this wasn't just a change in management. You see, behind the scenes, Rihanna negotiated ownership of her
Rock
earlier
Nation
masters.
has nothing
This
to
set a
do
precedent at the
with,
time because most artists have to either buy their
Jam.
masters back or legally fight for them, but she used her leverage to regain control. Now, what happens next is pretty crazy.
So who running Def Jam right now? Y'all put it in the comments.
Because you see, some artists actually do write some of their music, like Taylor Swift. Those artists tend to get bigger royalty splits. But because Rihanna didn't really write her own music, she usually had big teams of people working on her albums. So Rihanna decided to make most of her money a different way. In 2017, Rihanna dropped something nobody expected, a makeup line, Fenty Beauty. By 2020, Fenty Beauty was pulling in over $550 million a year, and Rihanna owns 50% of it. See, in business, they do something that's called an evaluation, where they determine how much a company is worth. And Rihanna's 50% stake in Fenty Beauty is worth about $1.4 billion. But she wasn't done. In 2018, Rihanna launched Savage Fenty. Within a few years, the company hit a $1 billion valuation, and Rihanna's stake was about 30%. So, if you're keeping up with the math, that's another $300 million added to her net worth. She wasn't just breaking into new markets, she was dominating them. By 2020, Rihanna's net worth was well over $1 billion, making her the richest female musician in the world. And the twist is, most of it didn't come from music. Music made her a household name, but Fenty Beauty and Savage Fenty made her a billionaire. Over 80% of her wealth comes from her companies instead of touring, streaming, or album sales. You see, she didn't need music to stay relevant. She just needed to own a brand,
and a couple
build products,
other,
and cash the checks. She didn't necessarily walk away from music, but she ended up building something much bigger. She proved that you don't need to keep performing and killing yourself, but she ended up building something much bigger. She proved that you don't need to keep performing and killing yourself and sucking up to the label just to make a living. Some people say Rihanna disappeared, but she just leveled up.
That's a fact. God damn, this list
While
still
other
going.
artists fought hard to
Gotta have
escape the
Drake on
label
there.
system, Drake mastered it. From day one, Drake played it smart. He signed with Lil Wayne's Young Money, and Young Money was under Universal. Now, the contract wasn't perfect. He had to split royalties across multiple entities, but it had a huge payoff.
Shit,
Drake took that.
Drake was signed to a good 4 different people, because he signed to J. Prince Jr. and them, he signed to Universal, he signed to Cash Money, he signed to Young Money.
That momentum, capitalized, and he ran with it. By 2018, his original deal was done, and Drake wasn't just the artist anymore.
Oh, all right. So by 2018, he was done with Cash Money. All right, that makes sense.
He was a free agent with leverage. Every major label wanted him, but Universal was licking their chops. They cut him a record-breaking deal worth over $400 million, one of the biggest artist contracts in history. Drake signed what's called a 360 deal. But this wasn't your average 360 deal. So typically what happens is the label invests a certain amount of money.
Now he's been trying to get out this deal, because they gave you the money, but now you had to sell your soul for it.
They pay you in advance, and they offer support in different areas to help you elevate, make more profits, and in exchange, they make more profits because they have to recoup their money. They get a percentage of what you make, and this is everything that you do. It's not just music. It's the albums, it's the tours, it's the merchandise, and even your endorsement deals. And of course...
Yeah, but I gave you $300 million up front, so it's like, of course I gotta make all that shit back. Everything you doing now, I gotta make it back. Because you probably was gonna make $300 million, but it was gonna take you a long time doing these shows and these merch and all that. So boom, yeah, I'm gonna give it to you up front now, and then when you do the shows and the merch, then you just give it back. It's like a loan.
They own your masters
That's
too.
all it is.
They basically own you for a price. But what makes Drake's deal different is he had way more leverage. The insane amount of the advance shows how far the record label was willing to go just to ride his coattails. And even though all the details aren't public, it's likely that he was able to negotiate a higher than normal royalty split. During his rise, Drake wasn't just building hits, he was building his company. In 2012, he launched OVO Sound. They signed artists like Party Next Door, Majid Jordan, and they
Party the only poppin' nigga on OVO. OVO ain't really hitting on nothing like that.
They operated under Warner Music Group, while Drake himself stayed with Universal. This setup let him play both sides, artist on one major label and executive on another one. Total control.
This is Pod
That was
5,
smart. I ain't know he did it like that.
Fully immersive
That was
sleep
smart.
system. Intelligent.
Now, early on, Drake didn't own his masters, but his power grew so much that he was able to start making certain demands. By 2022, he renegotiated his Universal contract and locked down ownership of all future masters. Instead of selling them, he gives the label a license to use the music. Basically, he lets the label use and exploit his music for a percentage of the profits. Drake still gets the benefits of a big marketing machine while still keeping ownership and control over everything. He flipped the power dynamic while working within the system. And with that freedom, Drake can pretty much do whatever he wants. He can drop surprise projects, he can genre hop whenever he wants to. He runs his entire career like a CEO. He's no longer at the mercy of the label. You see, they work for him.
You feel like you are successful?
Yes, I do. I always want more. I think less than the dollar value, it's just more about the idea of growth and business mindset.
I mean, honestly, he's the engine that keeps the industry running. And whether they like it or not, the labels know it. He's partnered with Nike, Apple Music, Beats by Dre, Sprite, and some people say he lost the beef battle to Kendrick, but you gotta admit, Drake's...
Is he still signed to all these people or got all these deals?
Business moves are unmatched right now in the rap game. Around the time Destiny's Child was taking a break in 2001, Beyonce signed a 3-album solo contract with Columbia Records. She got a $1.5 million advance, and it's no secret that Beyonce went on to be one of the greatest artists of all time. But what's even more interesting is how she handled her business. She started negotiating higher royalties and executive producer status on her albums and her videos. And by 2010, she had seen enough of Hollywood and understood enough of label economics to know she wanted to take things into her own hands. You see, she wanted something that's called vertical integration. It's when a company takes full control of every step of the process. They take control over the production and the sales instead of relying on middlemen and others to do the job for you. To accomplish this, she started Parkwood Entertainment, her own all-in-one empire. Music, tours, films, fashion, marketing. Beyonce controls it all. Beyonce don't answer to no label. She is the label.
What, nigga? I am your manager. What's up? You're the manager? That's right. How are you? You done. That's it. Your job is done, nigga. Get out.
The turning point came in 2011 when she parted ways with her manager, aka her father. It wasn't just a family decision. It was more of a business move because from that moment on, Beyonce managed herself. It gave her full control and complete financial power over everything she was doing. In 2013, she proved just how powerful she was because with zero promo, zero warning, she dropped her self-titled visual album on iTunes. No rollout, no radio push or anything like that, just Beyonce. And it broke the internet. People went crazy.
Beyonce, a few months later, just drops that Beyonce album. She does like 700,000.
You remind me of somebody. Stephon Urkel.
Changed the entire music industry. She changed the music industry that day.
With that surprise album.
Let me tell you why. Because she didn't give the audience a chance to think.
We all know she was on top musically, but business-wise, she was crushing it too. She negotiated ownership of her old masters, and after 2011, she owned everything through Parkwood. Beyonce controls how her music is used, licensed, and monetized. Every time a movie or a commercial or a brand wants to use a Beyonce song, they're basically cutting a check directly to her. With an estimated net worth of around
using Beyonce songs and shit like that in movies and shows.
$780 million. Beyonce isn't just one of the most successful artists of all time. She's one of the richest. And her biggest bag has to be her tours. The Renaissance World Tour did $579 million. The Formation World Tour did $256 million. But the music isn't the only revenue stream. She's got the Ivy Park clothing line. She's got multi-million-dollar deals with Pepsi, L'Oreal, and a Netflix deal too. And obviously she's married to Jay-Z, so you know she got stakes in his company too. What makes Beyonce so impressive is that while she's doing all of this, she's still at the top of the music game. Because most artists who tend to become business moguls, they usually slow down musically. They stop making albums or they only release one every couple of years. But Beyonce puts out hit after hit after hit.
Every time she been in the game,
imagine being LeBron James and you're playing ball every night, you're scoring triple doubles, and at the same time, you're the team owner and you gotta run the organization too. That's Beyonce.
This hoodie's so fire,
bro.
That was so
I forgot Russ.
This is my Christian brother. This is my Christian brother. Wallahi, yeah.
Is it
Russ
your merch?
definitely capitalized off the game.
From writing and producing to mixing every track himself, Russ built his empire from scratch. Between 2011 and 2014, he dropped 11 mixtapes all by himself. Then he did what no label would dare do for their artists. He released a new song every single week on SoundCloud.
I was sitting in the basement with no industry people on my phone, dropping a song a week
from the basement and going to sleep and waking up and hoping it had
sounding all
plays.
zesty and shit.
I was sitting in the basement with no industry people on my phone, dropping a song a week from the basement and going to sleep and waking up and hoping it had 1 million plays. And it didn't, and then finally it started getting 1 million plays after about fucking 50 weeks in a row.
And the grind paid off. He built a massive fan base before the industry even knew what happened. When Columbia Records came calling in 2016, Russ made it loud and clear. He was doing it his way. He signed a short-term deal that gave him the machine, but he kept his independence. But in June 2020, he shocked everybody and announced that he was going back 100% independent again. You see, Russ didn't need a major label to handle his career. He came out and said, there's nothing you can do as a major label artist that you can't do independently.
It's a
smash. He probably got with that major label and noticed they're not doing nothing different from him. It's all the same shit he could have did for himself.
The first week, but it's like they spent $1 million on this song.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
You know, so that's not real life. The more like accurate, realistic thing that's gonna happen to you, like I said, I've had 3 songs that have ever just gone dumb out of 500. The more accurate thing is you're gonna put out a song, it's not gonna do shit, and if it does take off, it's gonna be next year or in 2 years from now. Like I put out Breathe 3/15 2021. That shit now is like having its biggest streaming days.
It wasn't just a move, it was a complete message to every other artist out there. Ownership over everything. You see, Russ did it the right way. He built himself up first, so then the labels came to him. He owned his masters, and he made sure, even when he signed with Columbia, he owned his earlier work too.
Make it a 3-album deal. Right. And make sure they have release commitments. The release commitment is real, and the reversions. You guys can participate in the profits, but after 10 years, no, you can't. Those 3 albums that I did with Columbia, we still split 50-50 on.
But while he was with Columbia, he noticed he had a $40,000 decrease in his streaming revenue. And that was all he needed to see before he bounced. He founded his own label and he wanted to help other artists own their masters too. He spoke about how record labels made billions because they own other artists' catalogs. He wanted artists to know how important it is to own your own catalog instead of splitting profits with these big companies. Now, Russ also brought the receipts. In 2020, he posted his streaming revenue for everybody to see. You see, in 2013, he only made $48, right? Then in 2016,
They said $48. But there's only 3,000 some streams.
he was pulling in $100,000 a month.
May, June of 2016, because like June is when I partnered with Columbia.
Yes.
I'm making $100,000 a month. Kylie Jenner has posted my shit. I'm charting on iTunes. I sold out my tours. Like, I have more tours booked. I have songs coming out as we speak. And I'm sitting on a debut that I know is dumb. And Losing Control of What They Want are going crazy.
And in 2023, $223,000 in 1 week. It's crazy. The kind of numbers that Russ was doing
right now, 2025. Y'all let me know.
Numbers that artists only dream of because most of them have to split everything so many different ways. Now, streaming don't pay that much anyway. You don't even get 1 cent per stream. So think of having to split less than 1 cent 5 or 6 different ways. Just like Chance the Rapper, Russ proves you don't need a label. You just need consistency, control, and the knowledge of how to reach your audience. In 2018, Forbes listed him as one of hip-hop's highest earners, pulling in $15 million without a major label push. By 2024, his net worth was $15 million without a major...
What the hell? Oh, all right, because they all got $15 million. I'm about to say, how the fuck they got
label push. By 2024, his net worth was estimated around $10 million. And it's all self-made. He had hits like What They Want and Losing Control. All bringing in millions of streams every month. His tour sold out, his merch was moving. He even had a book on the bestsellers list. Every dime goes straight to him because he owns everything. Russ didn't just hack the industry, he built a new one. But what's the point of all this? Well, first of all, it is fun and entertaining to hear these kinds of stories, but more importantly, these are lessons that I think we can all learn from. Whether you work in the music industry like me or whether you're working a 9-to-5, you see, most of us work for a company. We don't own anything. We work hard and we hustle just to have a piece of the pie. Now, we can't all go out and start Rockefeller Records, but what we can do is start doing things like investing and starting a small business and just try to get some ownership. Now, I'm sure you heard all the cliches.
Shout out my label, HB's Entertainment, Head Boss Studios.
Of get into real estate, get into the stock market, which you should do that. But I think the lesson from the artist in this video is build your brand, and that way you can monetize yourself. Let me give you an example.
That's what it's all about, building your brand. Once you build your brand and you got everybody checking for you, then they're going to start checking for you. The big ups going to start checking for you. You hear me?
Work at McDonald's, right? You can use the Beyonce method. What you can do is learn everything you need to know about fast food service, and you can take that and then you can leverage it. You can start your own social media show where you review burgers, or you can get really good at cooking and start a show like McDonald's employee makes 5-star meal. Then down the road, you can start your own sauce company, open your own restaurant. I'm giving you the game, baby.
Real talk,
no, but seriously, I didn't make this video to be educational, but honestly, I'm always analyzing.
Why I don't bring the camera and record more shit while you at work? You be trying to separate the two, you know what I'm saying, from your job and from having a job and then doing social media and shit like that. You be trying to separate the two when really, if you combine them bitches, it's even more.
That stories and seeing what I can take from it, what I can learn from it, and I just wanted to share that with you guys. But let me know in the comments.
Exactly what he was about to say. Let me know in the comments if y'all like that one. You hear me? I liked it. It was cool. But drop a comment, like, comment, and subscribe, and all that good shit.
Don't do it for the bar, just do it for the bar.